Good afternoon, the Saturday Game Live. We've got a double bubble for you this afternoon. Later we've got Wolves against Everton at 5:30. Chris Whiteman will be your man in the commentary box for that one. Today you've got me, John Stuttar, cover of event at St James's Park between Newcastle, whose spending's been underwhelming, if the supporters are to be believed, and Tottenham Hotspur, who haven't even strengthened at all, but do welcome back Harry Kane in attack. The team's just about out on the field. We're just waiting for kick-off. I can tell you that the referee's Martin Atkinson, and we're all set to go here at St James's Park. Lovely sunlit afternoon for the big Saturday Game Live, Newcastle and Tottenham. Good afternoon to everybody, and welcome along to St James's Park, where the teams are already out on the field. So straight away, let me give you the two lineups for today, the two 11s. Dubravka starts in goal for Newcastle. Then it's Yedlin 22, Lascelles number 6. We've lost. Well, that was a comical start there, because the laptop is somehow, and there's been an airbreath trigger that's taken off the computer, taken off the laptop. So and we have the laptop for a second or two. So I will try and do this as quickly as I can. So we'll get them teams back for you in just a second or two. I do apologise. It's just the problem with laptops is, even if it's such as an airbreath trigger, you've got those added problems. Well, hopefully we'll be back live with you now in just a second or two, and I think it's going to be a tight game. Tottenham, the supporters have not been happy with the lack of business. They played a bit hardball over the potential move for Jack Grealish for Aston Villa. We're just about ready to start, by the way. We'll be back with the game in just a second or two, but let me just recap the teams for you very quickly in case you haven't heard them. This will be the first time you've heard me give them. As we were saying, Dubravka was in goals for Newcastle, and then it was Yedlin, Lascelles, Clark and Dummett. Then Ritchie, Shelvey, Diarmi and Perez and Yosselu, and Kennedy up front, the man on loan from Chelsea. Tottenham with Hugo Lloris, the French World Cup winner, in goal, the captain of course. Aria, Sanchez, Vertonghen, as the game prepares to get underway, and away we go. Newcastle in black and white, but it's Tottenham in the blue shirts that get us underway. So we've just got the game back in time for kick-off. So just to remind you, Lloris in goal, Uria, Sanchez, Vertonghen, Davis, Eric Dyer, Moussa Sissoko, Lucas Moura, Ericsson, Ali and Kane, as Tottenham about to try and break down the right. As Sissoko plays that ball in there, but again, good defending there by Clark, and in fact a foul's been given there. The referee today, Martin Atkinson of West Yorkshire, and the first free kick of the game is to Tottenham Hotspur. We'll just bring you the two benches in just a second or two, but I can tell you that Ross is giving me the two lineups very quickly there, and of course Martin Atkinson from West Yorkshire, which is part of the world. So we've had 56 seconds of the game, and it's Ericsson to take the free kick, or Trippier, whichever one it might be. Not Trippier. Is it Trippier? Trippier? No, it's Davis rather to take the free kick, and then the shot goes in and it's deflected. Comes out to Davis again on the near side, and out for a throw in. Right, the substitutes for Newcastle: Darlow, Key, Shah, Rondon and Mutu. For Tottenham, their subs are Vorm, Alderweireld, Son, Walker Peters. I don't know if he's got half the subs in there or not, but I'll run through the substitutes very quickly for you. Key, Son Young, Shah, Rondon, Mutu, Manquero, Darlow, the goalkeeper, and Atsu. For Tottenham, Alderweireld, Son, Vorm, the goalkeeper, Walker Peters, Llorente, Dembele and Amos. No place for Kieran Trippier in the side. probably not up to speed yet, but he had a terrific World Cup with England during the summer. Everyone will agree. But as I said, this is the first part of a double bubble, and of course the JB man in the match will be involved. I've got a new hashtag as well for you listeners as well. JB Live is the hashtag if you want to leave a message about the game. JB Live is the hashtag for this season. So we are starting to use a few more hashtags and get up to speed with the old hashtag front as Newcastle break through the centre. Chance inside the area for Kennedy. Kennedy trying to turn, but again good defending there from Tottenham. And it's been a good start, good frantic start to the game, good pace to it. And Kennedy's actually fouled there. Kennedy has got a nice hairstyle this season. He's got a shaven head. That's John Joe Shelby, the talisman. A lot of people said should have been in the England team, but I think one problem he would have had with that was the temperament. Could he do it in big games? Well, he's got a big game here this afternoon. Shelby's free kick towards the far side of the penalty area. Two Newcastle players converge on the ball. Then the shot back in and over the top. And it was Matt Ritchie with his left foot that skewed it wide. As I say, every comment, hashtag JB Live, like Russ has done. His prediction today: Newcastle 1, Spurs 2. Moira and Dele to score for Spurs, Perez to score for Newcastle. And here come Newcastle again with Kennedy. Now the crossing from the near side and headed away by Spurs. Newcastle starting with a good tempo. Shelby now just to the right of the field, but it's given away, and here goes Dele Alli. Alli over the halfway line, and a good tackle there. Really good tackle there by Diarmi, just getting back there and doing a very good job. And a throw-in it is to Spurs, 10 yards inside the Newcastle half on the far side. Nil-nil. Spurs are playing in a light greenish blue strip this afternoon. Newcastle, I'm sure if you're watching it and listening to the stream live on television, then it's black and white stripes, and you don't need me to tell you that, I don't think, as Spurs go forward and try to break down the right hand side. But again, good sensible play from Newcastle. Well, the acid test for them as Jose Perez goes down and gets a free kick. I think the acid test for Newcastle really is a lot of supporters. I'd like to hear from a few Newcastle fans who are listening to the game. Would like to get their opinions on the Mike Ashley, Rafa Benitez saga, because I've been hearing reports that the two are not exactly on speaking terms at the moment as regards recruitment and things like that, although Mike Ashley did buy Debenhams or House of Fraser for £90 million the other day. But here goes Tottenham now on the break. Good running again. The shot comes in, deflected again. And again, Clark, I think, getting back there and denying. I think it might have been Urier on the far side. Or Marcus Morris, sorry. Spurs having possession now with Dele Alli at it on the far side. Ali does a little step over. Tries to trick Matt Ritchie. And Yedlin has won Newcastle a throw to the delight of the supporters here at St James's Park. And I can tell you it's a raucous atmosphere inside this fantastic ground. One of the best, I think, in the country. Proper traditional ground. But Newcastle maybe on paper an inferior team to Tottenham in terms of quality, but for Barbara's commitments concerning, they're showing a lot of sweat on the shirt at the moment, which will please Benitez. But it's Spurs on the break here now at the moment. 6.5 minutes, coming up to 7 minutes gone here at St James's Park. Newcastle United 0, Tottenham Hotspur 0 in the first of the Saturday afternoon games. Later on, there's Huddersfield Chelsea as well, and the shot coming in, and I think De Bruyne got a hand on that. It was Eriksen's left-footed shot, and Martin De Bruyne, who impressed so well on loan here last season, had to make a spalling save. But I don't think it was going in, but De Bruyne just couldn't take the chance. Sometimes, as a goalkeeper, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. De Bruyne, in his own mind, couldn't let that one go, because he knows the quality of Eriksen, who's going to take the corner from the near side, the right hand side. Eriksen right-footed into the penalty area it goes. There's a couple of headers, one, and I think that came in off the crossbar, and then the shot back over. I think it was again from Harry Kane, and Spurs are appealing furiously. I think the goal's been given. The goal's been given. Well, it fooled me a bit there, but the goal has been given. Newcastle behind. Well, it did take an age from the goal system to sound on referee Atkinson's watch, but the goal has been given. There's the header. It was a header by, well, it might have been an own goal. It's hard to tell whether that crossed the line from the first angle we've seen it from. Well, it's Sanchez's header, and it looks as if it's Jan Vertonghen who scored this. Well, I'd like to look at the virtual replay just to make sure in my own mind, but that didn't really give us any indication. But I'm not saying that the goal decision system is wrong in any way, but couldn't see any conclusive proof there that the ball crossed the line. But I'm sure we'll get the virtual replay from Hawkeye in just a second. I'm not saying that the goal line decision system is wrong in any way, but Spurs in front, and it's Jan Vertonghen with the goal. He got the final touch, and Spurs off to a good start here, moving away from Wembley back to their new ground at the side of the old White Hart Lane this season. Then Shelvey has possession now for Newcastle. Ball played back once more. Newcastle's have to start with the tempo really a little bit now as we go into the 9.5 minute mark. A goal from Jan Vertonghen. He was adjudged across the line according to Hawkeye, the technology. And Newcastle in desperate trouble. Benitez's side already in problems. Well, they've still got the work rate and commitment, and that's going to be a throw into Newcastle as Urier concedes that throw. I will trouble with the penalty area. It's going to be number 3 Dummett to take. Paul Dummett with Newcastle, and it goes again. Can they keep possession here? Shelvey, who's got a good range of passing, as we all know, and again the ball out to Ritchie. The ball in there towards Kennedy. Oh, what a header! It wasn't, in fact, it was Joselu. Joselu for Newcastle. It's hard to tell with those black and white stripes, but it's a great finish from Joselu for Newcastle. Kennedy was certainly there at the far post. And Newcastle are level. And I think we've got a cracker here at St James's Park. 1-1. And all credit to Matt Ritchie. Good ball in. The flag stayed down. He wasn't offside. Joselu, great header. Lloris stood like a statue here. And with 11 minutes gone here at St James's Park, Newcastle have responded in the best possible way. Free header, great goal. It's 1-1. One ban, thank you, man. I think we've got a cracker on here, folks. Coming up towards 11.5 minutes here at St James's Park, and it's 1-1. Alderweireld with the goal for Spurs after 9 minutes, and 2 minutes after that, Joselu. Hard to tell whether it was him or Kennedy at first, but Kennedy was more towards the far post. Joselu was in the centre. We got it right in the end. We got there in the end. Early season nerves, even for us commentators. Here comes number 24 here, Aurier. Preferred to Kieran Trippier. But here come Newcastle again. Their expertise is certainly not to be questioned. And their fighting spirit is certainly not to be questioned. Let me know how you're enjoying the game in the comments below. Start your comment with the hashtag JBLive. Like Russ did earlier on. It's a great atmosphere inside this ground. Shelby touches the ball back. Now a chance now for Yedlin to get the ball forward for Newcastle. Long ball forward, but should be dealt with by Lloris and the Spurs defence. Well, that really sets up the game an absolute treat here. Remember to come later at Molineux. Wolves against Everton. Chris Whiteman will be the man in the box for that one. So 1-1 then at St James's Park. Lunchtime kick-off in the Premier League. And it's Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 1. 13 minutes gone. And Spurs just having a little bit of... I can tell you that Newcastle in black and white and Spurs are in a teal kit. It's a pretty unconventional colour, teal. I remember when it was just basically primary colours, but teal is a new one on me in terms of football kits. As we go to the 13.5 minute mark now. 1-1 is the score between Newcastle and Spurs here. They're trying to get a 1-2 going here, and now Richie to bring it away for Newcastle. 1-1. They've responded in the best possible way. The Magpies, the Toon Army. And we've got a game on here with a vengeance. And if Spurs thought they were going to have it all the wrong way, then they were very much mistaken. In fact, they're the first club in history to sign no players during the summer transfer window since it began nearly over 15 years ago. Here's Sissoko on the near side. Cross was blocked there, and then just bashed away by Diarmi up towards Kennedy. Kennedy battling again, and also Ledlin was there too. Still 1-1. Coming up towards a quarter of an hour gone here at St James's Park in a real thriller minute here. I don't think the goal scoring is going to stop anytime soon, but Newcastle have proved already just this season that they're not in it for the to make up the numbers, as Sanchez plays it to Ericsson. Ericsson back to Vertonghen. Now Davis knocks it forward. What a game this is turning out to be here. 1-1. You dare miss this at your peril. Oh, looked a high foot there. Referee Atkinson telling the Spurs player to get up. And still Spurs have it with Aurier now on the right hand side. 15 minutes gone here at St James's. 1-1. In a real thriller here at St James's. Dummett concedes the throw. Level with the Newcastle penalty area to Tottenham. Well, he'll be aggrieved that his team got off to a good start. Goal from Vertonghen that did cross the line, I'm being told. Although the replays I saw it on didn't look very conclusive, but I'm sure that's the case. And then cancelled out by a brilliant goal by Joselu for Newcastle. As Kane plays a 1-2, tries to play it with Sissoko, but Sissoko runs into traffic. And then Newcastle smuggled it out, and in fact they've won a free kick. Aurier with a bit of a naughty challenge there on John Joe Shelby, who's holding his right leg. It's a bit of a rash challenge there by Aurier. Just the excitement of the game. We just got to him a little bit there. We have a 1-1 scoreline here with just over 16 minutes gone in the first half, and well, the Saturday Match Live proving to have goals in it. We had 3 last night at Old Trafford. Got another 2 this afternoon in the first of 2 live matches from this fantastic league, one of the best leagues in my opinion in the world. But it's 2013, March the 13th, since Vertonghen last scored a league goal. So that was a long time coming there for Jan Vertonghen. Good header as well. It's gone with 5 years. It's 1-1 here at St James's in a high-octane first half, which has no sign of dying down at the moment. As Spurs begin to break. Uriye with a good cross towards the back post. And another goal! Dele Alli at the far post with a perfect header. No chance for Martin de Broek. And Tottenham Hotspur restore the lead after just 17.5 minutes. Wow, what a first half here. Uriye with a good first time cross from the right towards the back post, and Dele Alli guided it back towards the right hand corner of the net. That is a marvellous headed goal by the England man, who didn't score in the World Cup but put in some really good performances, you may remember, in the summer. But that will, well, he's off the mark for his club, and well, Pochettino must be a little bit more happier about things right now. So 2-1 Spurs. Good header there. We've just gone past the 18th minute mark here at St James's Park. And 2-1. He scored 9 goals, 10 assists, and made 10 goals in 36 appearances. Or got 10 assists, I should say. Which is quite low by his usual high standards. But he's off the mark this season with a superb headed goal. And the problem Newcastle had there, he was totally unmarked. He was free and had the freedom up to 6-yard box to nod into the net. So Newcastle 1, Tottenham 2. 3 goals in over 18 minutes here, which has been terrific entertainment for the neutral. Not so if you're a Newcastle fan at the moment. Ben Davies to take the throw. That's been given to Spurs, level with the Newcastle penalty area on the far side. Wow, it couldn't have been vicious to start with that here. This is a good game of football. Well, it's almost been played like an FA Cup game, because the way that both teams have been setting up, it's been a joy to watch. Martin Atkinson has his hands full. Might have been the game for a Newcastle free kick, but it's out for a throw. Coming up towards 19 into first half. This has been 3 goals in just over 17 minutes. I really set this game alight. Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Vertonghen and Ali for Spurs. Osalu in between for Newcastle. No kick to Newcastle. Well, we're just looking at the goal decision system, and it's close, I'll say that, but it's just an hair's breadth over the line. So the goal rightly given, but it was a hair's breadth in it. Newcastle will feel a little bit unlucky about that, but in the end, Okay, once again, as it has been since its introduction back in August 2014, has been on each and every occasion been absolutely correct, no doubt about it, just over the line. 2-1 to Tottenham, Vertonghen and Ali for Spurs, Yosselu in between for Newcastle. In case you've joined us late, and if you've joined us late, what have you've missed quite a lot. Well, Rafa's got some Rafa's team have to be asked to come from behind once again. They've done it once, they're certainly capable of doing it again. And I think it will be a tough baptism for Newcastle this season. I really do, and I've got them down to finish 14th or 15th in it. Oh, they tried to play out from the back. Newcastle tried to close them down. Lloris having to play it sideways, almost from the edge of his 6-yard area. That was a real problem, and that could have been problems there. Solomon Rondon is amongst the Newcastle substitutes this afternoon, incidentally. Kane trying to win it there in the midfield for Spurs, but Shelby comes away, but then gives it to Zoko, and then he's booted out. Kane is down on his haunches there. John Joe Shelby, no nonsense player for Newcastle, really needs to get his team whipped into shape here. In fact, Newcastle have got conceded a free kick. It was a foul and came by Shelby in actual fact. Halfway almost through this first half. Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2. What a first half it has been so far. Couldn't have gone any better if the game had tried. And credit to the referees. He's given the game every conceivable opportunity to throw, Mr. Atkinson, and that's been a very pleasing aspect about the referee's performance so far. No controversial decisions to give. The game's been played in a fantastic tempo, fantastic spirit, and both teams really going for it, 11 for 11. Good to see, really. Two teams now are prepared to attack every opportunity, and here come Newcastle now, looking to break themselves. Ball out on the left-hand side, and out for a throw. Kennedy involved, number 15. A throw taken quickly to Perez, who's lost the ball. In fact, it's not, it's Yosu, sorry. And Yosu has gone down there. The goal scorer could be in some discomfort here. And he stood, oh, that was an awkward one. That will be painful. Hopefully he'll be okay. The goal scorer for Newcastle. And please, 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 if you're going to comment, put the don't forget to hashtag JB Live. And we're going to reiterate that through every live game this season. We want to get into the 21st century. Hashtag everything. Doesn't matter where you put the hashtag, whether it's at the start or at the finish of the message. As long as you've got JB Live at the start or the end of the message, we will absolutely read that out for you. Although Adam has been on, don't forget to hashtag JB Live, like Russ has done, your fellow Leeds United supporter. So, a throw in to Newcastle, 5 or 10 yards from the halfway line inside their own half. And it's going to be the number 12, or the number 22, sorry, Yedlin to take. Yedlin now going forward, and it's come off Daylayed for a throw. 1-2-1 to Tottenham. As we rapidly come up towards the 25-minute mark here at St James's. In what's been a high-octane first half, 3 goals in the first 18 minutes that has really set this game completely and utterly alight. And it's been thoroughly an enjoyable game. And I've got absolutely no complaints with the entertainment value of the first half. Certainly 9 out of 10 in value for money in terms of the way that the player's gone. Although Spurs sneaking it by 2 goals to 1 at the moment. All that for a throw. 25.5 minutes gone. 2-1. Don't forget Wolverhampton Wanderers and Everton will be live at around about 5:30 this afternoon. Chris Whiteman will be on manning the combox for that one. And of course, if you don't catch us live, you'll catch us on demand, because all the games will be in a playlist, and that's football commentaries on my channel. Just look for football commentaries 2018-19 season on my YouTube page, and you'll find all the commentaries that we've done throughout the season. As well. Adam has got £20 on this to earn for 2-2. Don't forget hashtag, I'm going to keep reiterating it, hashtag JB Live. I want to get you all in the habit of hashtagging now this season. Right, Newcastle have a throw now, midway inside just the Tottenham half. 2-1 Newcastle trail. Shelby plays it out towards Diarmi turns back, and here's Shelby taking possession over on the far side, and I'm afraid there's not going to be I'm afraid Chris has just texted in. It looks as if it's going to be a double bubble for me again, so it looks as if I'm going to have to cover Wolves as well. So he's going to be out for dinner. But So I will take over commentary again for that one. So it's going to be 5 games in 4 days for me, so I'm not bothered. But he will be back on the commentary. He will be back on commentary this Wednesday coming with the Super Cup, so you'll be able to hear his dulcet tones for that one. As Richie sends that ball towards the penalty area once again, and then the header comes out once more, and then the shot back in. A good effort and just wide. That's better from Newcastle. It was Paul Dummett with the shot with the left footed wide. Adam says hashtag JB Live. Well done, Adam. Do you do any championship games? Well, the Friday night matches will be where we showcase the championship in all its glory. Russ will be the regular commentator for that, and I will be doing the bulk of the presenting work for the championship matches. We'll have most Friday night championship games on when there's no Premier League match on, and of course we'll cover the playoffs as well extensively in that division. So yes, we'll have some championship action for you and try and give that more coverage this season, because now with 2 extra voices on board, we can do the championship a bit more justice than we have done in the past. Don't forget that tomorrow, Clarets Match Live, again me in the commentary box as we endeavour to bring you live commentary of Southampton against. As the ball comes back, I have to break off for a second because here we've got a break on here for Uriye. Uriye's cross, and it's a poor one. I'm behind for a goal kick. JB Live sub, mate. Seems very decent this. Well, thank you very much for subscribing. Well, coming up towards 510 subscribers now. But it's going to be just to reiterate the news. Chris Whiteman is unavailable to commentate tonight. He's just sent me a text message telling me just that. So I'll have to hot foot it from the northeast down to the Midlands. Not necessarily, but we'll be back on the box again for a double bubble commentary. We are going to give you that double bubble commentary. It's just going to be my voice again, and then it'll be me again tomorrow with the Sunday match. I might as well just launch all 3 shows myself this weekend. No, I'm only joking. I know Russ and Chris are very busy people as well. But Chris, I promise you, will be on the mic for the Super Cup match, and he will be there on the button to bring you that commentary live for you. So don't worry about that. We're going to have some real fun all the way, and hopefully Chris will be with us next week for the big Saturday match, which is going to be which will be his game. He's got first refusal on it anyway, which will be Chelsea against Arsenal, and what a match that promises to be. He'll be on song for the Super Cup. That'll be his debut match this season. And then it'll be me again on Thursday with the Clarets match, European match, the second leg of the Europa League, involving Istanbul and Burnley from Turf Moor. And then Saturday lunchtime, Cardiff City against Newcastle, so that should be mine. And then Chris Whiteman will have the big game of the day, Chelsea versus Arsenal. And then on the Sunday, me again with Burnley against Watford, and hopefully we'll have Russ on with a championship match as well the next Friday as well. We don't know what the championship game will be, but we'll find out in due course for you. So plenty of football to keep you entertained in the next couple in August here on this channel, and we're having plenty of goals today as Newcastle come forward. The attempt to cross, feels a handball turned away by referee Martin Atkinson. The long ball forward over the top, but that should be cut out, and it's back with Dubravka. Dubravka curves with his left foot. Over the halfway line it goes. In fact, a free kick has been given for a foul on Paul Dummett, to ironic cheers for a lot of the 52,000 Newcastle fans that are situated in this beautiful arena, St James's Park. Of course, my coverage of our coverage of the Wolves game will kick off at around about 5:15 before I do the commentary. No, before we do commentary of the game, we will bring you the full classifieds from all the 3 o'clock games across the UK as well. And remember, every Burnley match will be covered live on the YouTube channel. Ready? Burnley fans of the Clarets match live, bigger and better. The Garrett's game live, I should say, back bigger and better than ever. And but because we've got extra voices now, we can give more of the bigger games that are taking place where Burnley aren't involved that little bit more justice. So watch out. Here's Richie now for Newcastle. 2-1 down, but they're giving it a good go again. And they're doing really well, and the crowd here is really getting up behind them now as they're going in search of an equalising goal here, Newcastle. A little back flick here. And it looks as if there was a potential foul there on the edge of the area. Shelby in to win the next ball, deep inside. Still the Spurs help, but the ball back on halfway now with Lascelles. And now Yedlin. Yedlin playing it out towards the far side. Newcastle just keeping the ball around very, very calmly. OCSC boy says hello. Don't forget hashtag JB Live. We're going to get you all today and later on tonight. We're going to get you all into the habit of hashtagging JB, the hashtag and JB Live. We're now up towards the 21st century. This is Ericsson for Spurs. Deep inside the area, Kane couldn't get on the end of the through ball. It was a good idea from Ericsson, and Harry Kane just couldn't control it. 2-1 to Tottenham against Newcastle, and that's a good run by Diarmi over the halfway line. Good football that from Newcastle. And Diarmi goes down there. Mystery Atkinson, I think he's trying to signal there's an advantage. This is Richie on the right hand side. Richie cuts inside, gets his shot off, it's charged away. I think Newcastle would have preferred a free kick. I don't think there was much of an advantage to be played because of the fact that there were plenty of Tottenham players back. I'm not sure you could call that an advantage, to be quite honest with you. But here's the Spurs on the break, and the game's just peating off a little bit as we go into the last 10 minutes. And just to remind everyone who's joined us very, very late, and where were you? Because you've missed all the fun. Spurs took the lead on 8 minutes. A goal from Jan Vertonghen that just about crossed the line. Goal line technology saying it did stand, and it did, and it was right, but it was a hairbreadth in it, and just crossed the line by a whisker. So that gives Spurs the lead. 3 minutes later, on 11 minutes, Joselu with a 3-header, unmarked and not in, the equalising goal for Newcastle. So that brought it to 1-1. And then another 7 minutes elapsed. A crossing from the right by Urier, and in came Dele Alli at the far post, unmarked and nod into the right hand corner, and that did look a free kick. I've just seen on the monitor to head Spurs back into the lead. It's been a crazy first half. Remember, he's scored 2 goals, 2 assists in 13 Premier League games, but it was for half a season when he was on loan. He's there now for the whole season, Kennedy. As Paul Dummett has the throw now for Newcastle, trailing by 2-1 at St James's Park at the moment in the first of our 2 matches live here. I'm going to have no voice left by the end of this weekend, I'm telling you. Here comes Harry Kane now inside the centre circle, still inside the Spurs half, by the way, and then the ball played back out. And then the ball forward, chances here for Newcastle, but out comes Lloris on the edge of his D, just hooks the ball away deep into the Spurs, into the Newcastle half rather. Spurs Everton does look a cracking game. I think Molineux will be bang up for that one later on. I think it's going to be a raucous atmosphere inside Molineux for that one. Plenty of good football to come on this YouTube channel in the next 10 days or so, and we'll try and cover every kick if we can of Burnley live undelayed. So we'll endeavour to bring every Burnley game as much as we can to you live. Or delayed, of course. Certainly the European matches. Here's the crossing from the near side. Ball in towards the penalty area. Chances here inside the area for Spurs, and Kane couldn't stab the ball back. And in fact, he got a deflection on the way, and a corner it is. The Spurs were looking for that third one now as we go into the latter stages of the first half. As we just see there, Harry Kane's attempt to cross charge down. Yet to score yet. The Spurs man was the World Cup Golden Boots winner with 6 goals. Although admittedly most of them came in the group stage, and his last goal was his 6th one was in the last 16 against Colombia. And this, and just a little flick there by Davinson Sanchez that just went wide of the right hand post. The near post as we look, but the far post is from his viewpoint. And Martin Dubravka was not at all certain. He was in 2 minds whether to come or go. In the end, if it had been on target, that was 3-1 to Spurs, absolutely for sure. You may hate me for saying this, but Davinson Sanchez may be the defender of the season. I don't think I'm going to hate you for it, but I think he's got the capabilities to do it. I don't believe he's a bad defender. I'm not sure. I don't think hate's the word I was thinking of. But Davinson Sanchez is not a bad player. Let's make no mistake about that. He almost scored just then. So any fears you had of being hated for that comment are well diminished. Don't you worry. We respect every comment any constructive comment that is made on this YouTube channel. So yeah, but no, we don't hate you for that comment. Don't you worry. You have an opinion, and you've exercised that belief. Here's Richie now, 40 yards from goal, chips it towards the back post. A little bit of problems here for Spurs here in defence, and they haven't made a good job of getting it clear. The ball back in, and a chance at the far post, and it was Kieran Clark coming in, I think, Perez was the man coming in. I think Clark played the ball back across the face of the goal. Spurs defence at 6s and 7s here. They had about 2 or 3 goals to get the ball away. Kieran Clark played it in, and Jose Perez just couldn't touch it in at the far stick to try and make it 2-2. But it's been a thrilling first half. Just to remind you, Vertonghen put Spurs in front. Then an equaliser not long after by Joselu. And then Dele Alli restoring Spurs' lead just shy of the 20-minute mark. But it's still been a fantastic game so far, and Sissoko breaking inside the area. But again, a marvellous tackle there by the Newcastle defence. It's been a real tough examination here for Spurs today. There's no doubt about that. No clean sheet for them. As Spurs now look to try and score the 3rd goal. That goal is going to be important. If Newcastle get it, we're in for a real grandstand finish. Huddersfield Chelsea will be one of the 3 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon. Our focus after this one will be planning towards Molineux for a huge match of huge importance between Wolverhampton Wanderers and Everton. Huge importance for Wolves, who are tipped to finish 9th, Everton to finish 7th this season. Both teams are strengthened very, very well in the window. Newcastle, who haven't really strengthened at all, or haven't spent enough money on players, have given Tottenham, who've been the first team, in fact, not to strengthen with anybody since the window was introduced some 15 years ago. Well, they're only 2-1. I don't think they need anyone else at the moment, the way they're playing at the moment. Eriksen now finds Kane. Kane's ball a little bit poor there from Harry Kane, and that's going to be a foul. A free kick given against Eric Dyer, and he's going to be picking up a booking for that. We're inside the last 4 minutes in the first half here, and Eric Dyer is the first player into the referee's notebook. And it was very cynical. Took him out. There's no doubt about that. It was a very crude challenge. So Dyer becomes the first player in the referee's notebook. And it remains It remains 2-1 to Tottenham as we now go into the closing stages of the first half then. And I have to say it's been a really good first half, and I've absolutely enjoyed bringing it to you, as we're going to enjoy bringing you Wolves this after later on, and of course it's going to be a long Saturday for me, so a double bubble shift for me. I was due to be the presenter again in the match at Molineux, but once again, due to the circumstances that Chris couldn't avoid, he's had to pull out, and understandably so. Burnley should come first, and but he will be back for the Super Cup, and hopefully for a real nice little gentle stroll at tea time next week, because it'll be Chelsea against Arsenal. There's a player gone down there, I can't tell who it is. It's number 15, Kennedy down on the ground as we come towards the end of the first half here. The Premier League live on the JB Claret YouTube channel. 2 match commentaries, and I'm on them both as Newcastle play their way, or try to play their way out of trouble. Ball back inside once again. So we're inside the last 90 seconds of the first half. A good first half in the main. 3 goals in the first 18 minutes has really set them on their way. And here I've Newcastle on the far side, the right hand side, Richie to take the free kick. And this might be a good opportunity now for them to strike right on the stroke of half time. Looks like Richie's going to wind this one up. In fact, it's Shelby with the free kick into towards the penalty area, headed away by Spurs defence. The ball comes back almost to Richie once more, but then the men in teal get it away through Harry Kane. But Yedlin wins the ball back and gets it back to Jarbrook, the Newcastle goalkeeper, and then knocks it out, almost knocked it out. And in fact the ball had gone out, so it is a Tottenham throw. Richie just couldn't keep it in play, to his vast relief. Inside the last 30 seconds of the first half. Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Interesting first half here at St James's Park. Once the half-time whistle goes and we wrap up the half-time, we will, as we wrap up for half-time, we'll take a 10-minute break as we usually do, when it's just me on the microphone, and then return with second half commentary, and then we'll take a 3-hour break and then come back with big match commentary on Newcastle Tottenham, or the big match commentary on the late game at 5:30 between Wolves and Everton. Tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 we've got Burnley in action down at Southampton. 2 added minutes at the end of the first half then, and well, so far it's been an interesting first half, that is for sure. Ball played back in once again, and hooked away and out for a throw. Is it? No, the ball's still in play over on the far side there. And it looks as if Spurs are going to have it now. We've played almost 1 minute of the 2. Been a good first half here. All 3 goals coming after 18 minutes of play. And we've now got 1 more minute of the first half to go, and then we can have a welcome break at the end of this first half. And it really has tested the vocal cords this first half, but it's been a good game of football. Very enjoyed it so far. Hopefully the second half will live up to all expectations the first half has certainly created. This is Sissoko now, 10 yards inside the Newcastle half, plays it infield towards Kane, then Eriksen takes possession. Now a chance now for Sanchez to come forward, and Sissoko back to Sanchez, back to Sissoko once again. But once again Newcastle showing that they're just as good here with Kennedy. And Kennedy goes down, no foul there on Kennedy, free kick not given. 1 ball forward again, chance here for Kane to get on the end of it. He goes down, no free kick this time again from referee Atkinson as we come towards the end of the first half. We've now played 2 minutes at the end of the first half of stoppage time, and Martin Atkinson just checks his watch and then blows for half time. So there we are then, end of the first half. A good first 45 minutes of real excitement here at St James's Park. The first goal after 8 minutes from Jan Vertonghen, the ball just crossing the line. On the 11 minutes, Joselu with a superb equaliser, practically on mark to make it 1-1. And then Dele Alli, some 7 minutes later, with the second Tottenham goal, has been an absolute colossus so far. But a good first half, been very enjoyable. Join me in 15 minutes for the start of the second half here. As we leave you for 15 minutes, don't forget to rejoin me for commentary of the second half of Newcastle Spurs. But we'll leave you for now, but just for now, with the scoreline at half time. Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Welcome back to the second half of Newcastle Spurs taking place at St James's Park. Later to come, it will be me again, a full match commentary of Wolverhampton Wanderers take on Everton from Molineux. Half time up at St James's, it's 2-1 between Newcastle United and Tottenham Hotspur. To remind anyone that has tuned in very late, like Manchester United Fans TV. Also, I just want to tell you very quickly that if you are commenting, don't forget #JB Live. And we'll get you saying that throughout the course of the afternoon and this evening. But just to remind everybody that earlier on, Spurs took the lead as little as the 8th minute, as short as the 8th minute, when Jan Vertonghen had just crossed the line to give Newcastle the lead. 2 minutes to give Spurs the lead. Then Newcastle equalised 2 minutes later for a free header from 6 yards by Joselu. And then the goal that put Spurs in front came after 18 minutes, across from Sergio Aurier from the right and nodded goalwards by daylayed. And that's the situation at the moment at St James's Park, as we wait for the two teams to arrive back out onto the pitch for the second half, which we'll be able to bring you to live, and then we'll have a couple of hours rest, and then we'll be back around about 5:15 for Wolves against obviously against Everton as well. Just to remind you, the 3 o'clock games: Bournemouth against Cardiff, Fulham against Crystal Palace, Huddersfield against Chelsea, big baptism again this season for Huddersfield Town, and Watford take on Brighton, who those two I've actually got down as relegation candidates. Hearts and Celtic level in the early kick-off. In other sport, just to bring you up to date whilst we're waiting for the game to come back, England are 89 for 4 against India in the second test over at Lord's. So plenty happening there. The European Championships, the Great Britain athletes going for gold in the gymnastics. But at the moment, in our match, as we wait for the game to restart, we will be live very shortly with the second half. But I hope that's kept you abreast. And of course, later on, Wolves kick off their campaign. Best match, Man City and Arsenal. Regrettably, we're not covering that because it happens to fall on the same day as the match between Burnley and Southampton, which we're going to give priority because this is still a channel, and this is essentially originally about Burnley, so we have to give Burnley a lot more coverage than anything else. But to come at 3 o'clock, Huddersfield, Chelsea, Bournemouth, Cardiff, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Watford against Brighton and Albion. Then we'll be live for the game at Molineux. Again, me having to take over the commentary duties again. Wolves against Everton. My word, I'm earning my money today, and that will be kicking off at 5:30 British time, 12:30 AM Western time in the United States, as we get underway at the start of the second half. No changes I can see from any of the two teams. Just to remind you of the colours: Spurs interchange strips of teal and darkish blue on the sleeves. Newcastle in their famous black and white stripes, black shorts, white stockings. And it was a magnificent first half to enjoy and watch. Views on Ospina leaving. Not altogether surprised by that one, to be honest with you. That's my view on Ospina. And a very random question. Don't forget, guys, if you are commenting, don't forget to put #JBLive at the start of your comment. I know it's going to be a difficult habit to get into, but please get into the habit if you can. So Newcastle now attacking the Gallowgate end in the second half, and Tottenham towards the Leazes Road end, where their supporters are in the top tier of that particular end. One trip up for the Tottenham fans up to the most northerly Premier League ground in the country, and you feel for the Newcastle and feel for the fans that have to travel up here, and then the Newcastle fans travel south and all that sort of jazz. See Solomon Rondon down below, getting ready to go on, because I'm sure he's going to come on at some point. Brand new signing. Sign from West Brom, with Dwight Gale going the other way to the Hawthorns, as Newcastle go charging forward again with Jose Perez. And Kennedy was right in there on the edge of the area. Newcastle player went tumbling. Referee said no foul. Still Newcastle have it. The flag is staying down and off the post. A shot from the left of the penalty area, and it strikes the post and comes away, left hand post. And it could have easily been 2-2. Diarmi's shot, right foot, bang, against the post. Big chance. That really was to make it 2-2. The goalkeeper was beaten at his near post. And, well, that was a big chance for it to be 2 each. Instead it stays 2-1 here to Tottenham. Here's Kennedy now trying to turn. Can't wiggle his way through past 3 teal-shirted Tottenham defenders. And the ball back to the Leeds' end, where Martin de Broek got beaten twice. Could have been beaten a third time because he was a little bit clueless on one corner, which nearly led to Davison Sanchez making it 3-1 to Spurs. And ball back with de Broek this time once again. You just wonder really, have Spurs decided to put all their eggs in one basket and not buy someone? They did play hardball on the Jack Grealish deal. Could that prove to be a mistake? Because Grealish has now stayed in the Championship with Steve Bruce and Aston Villa. We're looking to get back at the 3rd year of trying now. Villa, a club like that should not be in the Championship with their reputation and stadium and all that. Spurs have finished, in fact, in the top 3 in their last Premier League season. Third 2 years ago, second season before last, and third the last season. So they have the pedigree about them, and free kick going against the men in black and white. Wenger should have played him more. Thank God he left. Hashtag JB Live. And that is... we want to get people involved here. JB Live is the cry. For all our live matches, even if Chris is commentating, it's JB Live, because the channel is called JB Claret, of course. Right, I hope that clears up that mystery. It's Kane now, who's just dropped deep, plays the ball over towards the far side. Sissoko is there. Aurier, will keep that in play. Now Sissoko will take possession. Now Aurier again on the right hand side, far side as we look. Aurier with a ball in towards the back post. Then the ball knocked back across and almost off the line by Kieran Clark there. Now Dele Alli has it on the left hand side. The near side as we look. The ball in towards the penalty area. This time Lucas Moura was jumping. He couldn't get anywhere near it. And away come Newcastle, and then they give the ball away rather carelessly to Christian Eriksen. You don't want to be doing that. Kane's in there, turn the ball back in, and Ali was there with another flick. Kane went in for the first ball went in first, and then Ali tried to loop it over the goalkeeper, just couldn't succeed. And Newcastle almost making a goal for Spurs there of their own, and it would have been their own fault if it had been. Kane didn't connect it well enough, and then it comes off Ali's left thigh, and well, the goalkeeper de Broek had just did enough. Brought it literally on the goal line. Still 2-1 for Spurs. But they're giving oh, the space here on the far side. Chance here for 2-2. And it still might come for Kennedy. And across the face, will it break for Newcastle? Oh, what an opportunity there for the Toon Army. And how on earth Spurs have survived that. Kennedy on the far side with the glorious opportunity to make it 2-2. It's a lovely pass out towards the far side in the first place, but still Kennedy's first touch was poor there. Ritchie was also waiting in the 6-yard box as well, and in the end Spurs have survived. But what a good ball that was by Jose Perez in the first place. But Kennedy, if his first touch should have been better, that was 2-2, no doubt about it. Newcastle still having 1 or 2 chances here. And here goes Yedlin. Oh, he's giving it away, Yedlin. That's a poor ball by him. And then the ball back to Dubravka. Wow. You couldn't write the script for these games, could you? Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2. This really is going to be some season here in the Premier League. If we're going to get exciting action like this every week, then I don't think we're going to be in for much doubt about that. This is Ali now down the left hand side. Ali away from two men, and in the end Lucas denied. It will be a corner, and it was Diarmi who got back there for Newcastle. Good turn there from Dele Alli. He did really well, and Diarmi just getting in there first before Lucas could get there. Spurs though have won the corner, and Ericsson to take it. 52.5 minutes gone. Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2. Ericsson with the corner into the near post and nodded out, and it will be another corner to Tottenham. Eric Dyer was lurking at the near post there. Joselu nodding it behind. So the fourth corner now. Newcastle have had just the one so far in the game. Ericsson then with the fourth Tottenham corner. Into the penalty area it goes from the left hand side, and he hit it quite flat, which didn't make it easy. Hooked away there by John Joe Shelvey. Up towards Kennedy that time. Kennedy couldn't control, and then the ball out of play. Will be a throw into Newcastle, which John Joe Shelby to take. Richie makes a run down the right. Shelby decides to take his time over it. I think he did spot the run of Richie, but choose to ignore him there a little bit there, the central midfielder, as the ball comes back to Martin Dubravka. Newcastle then, from a possible promising position, have decided to just keep possession and just knock the ball back to their goalkeeper. But they've got a throw in now midway inside the Spurs half. They've had chances now, the Toon Army, and they could get another one here now as they go in search of this equalising goal. They played really well in this second half so far. Edge of the area. Spurs just dilly-dallying a little bit there as Richie goes. Shelby tries to find Richie, on the right hand side. Shelby loses out, and that's going to be a foul there, surely. Free kick. Yedlin on Lucas. So a free kick it is to Tottenham just inside the centre circle, inside their own half. Well, it has been a tough baptism for Spurs. It was never going to be easy. First game of the season going to St James's Park. Criticism about the lack of transfers. There is the new stadium as well. They're however ever in debt with this new stadium. It's almost a mirror image what happened to Arsenal all those years ago at the Emirates Stadium. But Spurs fans were laughing, and now Spurs fans a decade on are finding out for themselves what Arsenal had to go through. But they're still playing some quality football though, and they've got a good enough squad. And Kane is there. Chance here for the cross by Davis, and the ball back across, and that should have been the third one. But for a great save by Dubravka, the ball knocked goalwards from 6 yards, and Dubravka had reactions there like a cat. Should have been 3 here. Good cross in there from Davis. And in the end it was straight at the goalkeeper from Sissoko. That would have been 3-0. No, 3-1, sorry. And I think he cost just about short of about £5 million. Dubravka, good goalkeeping there. But it's Ericsson now for Spurs. Little chip in there, and Sissoko was lurking again. And Jamal Lascelles, the captain, having to nod that behind for a corner. We've had over 10 minutes of the second half. Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2. That's the 2 live commentaries this afternoon, and then we've got another one tomorrow from Southampton as Southampton take on Burnley. Here comes the corner. Ericsson to take. Into the penalty area it goes. The fist away by Dubravka. Not very far, however. Not even out the penalty area, but still Spurs have it now. With Aurier now. Aurier turns And tries to pirouette again, just does enough there against Perez, and then gets the ball in, and then the Brooker half saved it in the end. Once again, that man, and it was Davison Sanchez, in fact, who came in there, stayed forward from the back, tried to hook it goalwards, but fair play to Sergio Aurier here, did really well, whipped the cross in. The Brooker, don't know what he was trying to do there, very poor goalkeeping from me there, palmed it right into Sanchez's opportunity to give it into Sanchez's path, and he tried to volley it. Maybe that wasn't the best policy on offer there that he could have done, but no harm has been done. Tottenham leading by 2-1. 57 minutes gone here in the opening game of the afternoon at St James's Park. In the opening match of the league last night, 2-1, Manchester United beat Leicester City. Meanwhile, 21, Joselu is in trouble here, and he's now going to go into the referee's notebook. A needless foul to give away. Silly challenge there on Eric Dyer. Ball had gone a good couple of seconds after before Joselu got the man. The bookings have been just about right actually from Martin Atkinson, which is more than I considered about the Serbian referee in the Burnley Istanbul match the other night. Two players, Ashley Barnes and Joe Hart, for no reason whatsoever, which I felt was a stupid piece of legislation. I don't know whether he was bound by the laws of the game, but he didn't help the flow of the match from a neutral point of view. But here's a chance now for Newcastle on the break. They've got Solomon Rondon to come on, I'm being told, and they've got a corner as well here, Newcastle. Joselu on the break then. One ball over the top, another good pass there again. This time from Matt Ritchie. Deep inside his own half, that's a good ball over the top. I think Spurs look a little bit vulnerable with the ball over the top. And in fact, Joselu, who scored the goal, put Newcastle back in it to 1-1 after 11 minutes, and there before Ali scored again for Spurs. He's going to come off. It's a good clap there from the Newcastle fans. And Solomon Rondon wears that famous Newcastle number 9, been worn by so many greats: Jackie Milburn, Malcolm MacDonald, Alan Shearer, Andy Cole. Solomon Rondon now is the latest incumbent of that famous number 9 shirt. Balling back in there once again from the Newcastle corner. Spurs taking their time and dilly-dallying about there inside the area. Shot comes in, saved in the near post by Maurice. Still not away yet. Still chances there for Newcastle. In the end, it's broken to Harry Kane, and then loses the ball, Kane. And Newcastle there could have easily been equal, could have been level then. The equaliser, they've had 2 or 3 key opportunities. And one has to say, Hugo Lloris has kept Spurs in front. Certainly been Newcastle's second half. They've had the best chances, and that's a foul. Oh, it's giving it the other way, and the Newcastle fans are not happy at all. Well, I thought it was the other way. I thought it was a Newcastle throw, ball, but there you go. We're playing an hour. I think this is going to be a tense last hour, half an hour here up at St James's. We see that Melly in there hit Ritchie in the face, and then the ball came out, and it was Perez's shot. And it was a good save here by Lloris. Can't have been easy because it's coming at him at a rate of knots through Dele Alli's legs, and that's a big right hand from the French international. World Cup winner, of course. Lifted the World Cup, became the first goalkeeper captain to lift the World Cup. Trying to think the last goalkeeper captain. I'm sure it was Dino Zoff back in '82. I might be wrong, but in fact it wasn't. It was 2010 Iker Casillas who lifted the World Cup for Spain. I couldn't think. But became the first goalkeeper captain in 8 years to lift the World Cup, and followed Dino Zoff and Iker Casillas in doing so. Exclusive club there as Newcastle try again to try and get this equalising goal, but it's Kennedy who hits it over the top and behind for a goal kick. There's the Gallagher end again, packed as it always is for every Newcastle home match. and every Newcastle player grows up in those parts. They've all the talent that they've produced over the years. How they've not won a major domestic trophy since 1955 is beyond me. They haven't won anything major since '69 when they won the old Fairs Cup, of course. Bobby Moncur is still the last Newcastle captain to have lifted a major piece of silverware, and the fans are craving success on Tyneside, and you can understand why they're frustrated. They are a big club in terms of stature and the ground and tradition, but they haven't had major success since '69, and that's a big worry for the many Newcastle fans here, and there are thousands of them. Newcastle is a very unique place, as along with Burnley. There's a Newcastle player down, incidentally. Can't tell who it is. It looks like Solomon Rondon, actually. Out for a throw. Looks like he's back on his feet to get the player. It was Rosie Perez, actually, that was down. But Newcastle's a bit like Burnley in the sense that if you go through the city of Newcastle, there's no other shirt other than black and white stripes, and that's usually a good thing there, that the town is getting behind the local football team. And obviously Newcastle fans always travel well, which is always a very good sign. Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2 is the scoreline at St James's Park. Later on it's Wolves versus Everton. Don't forget, if you're commenting, don't forget hashtag JB Live at the start or the end of your message, and we want to get you all in that habit of doing that this afternoon. 63 minutes gone then. Here's Rondon, the man on now from the start, for the rest of the game, with his first appearance for Newcastle as a substitute today. Signed during the week from West Bromwich Albion, just before a few days before the window closed. Dwight Gale going the opposite way into the Championship, and as the shot comes in from 35 yards out, it's a very speculative one there by Yedlin, and a goal kick for Newcastle, for Tottenham, sorry. Be interesting to see how quickly he hits the ground running. It's a big weight on his shoulders, that famous Newcastle number 9 shirt, worn by so many great legends. Jackie Milburn, of course, Malcolm MacDonald in the late 60s, early 70s, Alan Shearer, Mick Quinn, Les Ferdinand, Andy Cole. They've all worn that number 9 with great distinction. And is the latest and Solomon Rondon is the latest incumbent. For the record, Tino Asprilla never wore number 9 for Newcastle, but they had a great striker in him. Those were the heady days when they were playing great football under Kevin Keegan and all that sort of thing. They haven't really, I mean, Benitez is the first decent manager they've had probably since Sir Bobby Robson. Many managers have tried to be successful. Keegan almost won them the league back in '96. They've had a couple of cup finals since then. It's Eric Dyer there walking a disciplinary tightrope, took out Perez there, and he was very lucky. Spurs prepping a second change. It's going to be prepping a change. It's Moussa Dembele. 65 minutes gone here on the JB Claret YouTube channel, live from this game between Newcastle and Tottenham St James's Park. Full match audio commentary of this game. Short, wow, a low ball in there from the far side. It was Kennedy's ball in, almost finding Rondon, but couldn't get there. Here's Ali down the left for Tottenham. Been an interesting match so far. Really good game. How we've not had more than 3 goals in the game is beyond me. But plenty of fantastic action here at the moment. Our second live league match of the season, Premier League match of the season, as Benitez prepares another Newcastle change. As that's a foul by Ritchie on Eric's. I think is it Davis? Yes, Ben Davis was the man tripped. So a free kick for Tottenham. Just over halfway inside the Newcastle penalty area. And the third Tottenham goal would be crucial now. It's on the left hand side, just to the left of the D. So as this ball will come in now towards the far post, header one, and straight into the arms of the goalkeeper, who did magnificently well. Drop the ball as we see Dembele being spoken to, talking tactics with Mauricio Pochettino, the Tottenham Hotspur manager. Bit impressed with the endeavour of both teams this afternoon again. Newcastle can count themselves a bit unlucky not to be at least on parity in this game, which will be a worry to them, I suppose. In that respect, there's a free kick there to Newcastle, foul there by Harry Kane, who picks up a booking about 20 yards from the halfway line, still inside the Newcastle half incidentally. So Kane becomes the latest recipient into the referee's notebook. And just a clear push there, no need for that. It was a bit of a silly one there for Harry Kane to concede. Professional foul, he may well term it, with his team leading narrowly. Substitution taking place. Off comes Lucas. On comes Moussa Dembele. Chance for him to see what he can do. And Atsu is also on, and he's replaced Richie. So Atsu on now for Newcastle, their second change. Richie's done well, former Bournemouth man. As fresh legs now come from the bench, as both teams search for some early season points which will settle them down. I think if you were a neutral looking in, you think Newcastle should be at least worthy of a 2-all scoreline at the moment, and they've had chances, but you don't take your chances, invariably you don't win. At the moment it's happening quite a lot to Matt Ritchie. Now then, JB Live hashtag Jose Mourinho is the Gordon Ramsay of football. Well, I don't know, we didn't get a chance to listen to his interview last night, but one thing I will admire him for is the praise that he gave Luke Shaw last night. I thought, and the praise was well merited. I thought he had a good game last night. Been unlucky that we didn't. I was a little annoyed actually that we weren't considering him for man of the match, because he really did well. And then United team that just weren't fully functioning properly. Here's Harry Kane now. Ali up ahead of him, tries to play the through ball to Ali. Now Kane will play it out towards the far side. Ben Davies will get there. Davies will try and keep that in, but he can't. And it's a throw into Newcastle, edge of their own penalty area. As we go into the last 20.5 minutes, we've had 69.5 minutes at St James's Park. Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2. As Shelby helps that one along forward again. Chances there for Ron to go at the end of. Kennedy and Atsu now on as well. Still 2-1. Spurs their 8th straight Premier League season away from home, and longest running top flight history was 9 from, I think it was Burnley from back in the 1800s. A long time ago that. Mix's computer does throw up some make it difficult for Spurs. The only reason they're away from home again this time is because their stadium is almost completed and it's almost there for finishing, as the shot goes over the top from Dembele. Speculative 35-yard left-footed effort that just goes into the Leicester stand behind Martin de Bruyke's goal, and behind for a goal kick. Well, some good faces on that Newcastle bench. Still a long way to go yet. 20 minutes for Newcastle to try and pull an equaliser out the fire. They've given it a good go. They've deserved something from the game, Newcastle. I don't think there's much doubt about that. They've had a real good go at it. At the moment, they're just coming up a little bit short on quality at the moment. De Bruyke with the goal kick, right-footed, over the halfway line it goes. Just drifted out to the right, that kick, and then the ball is played out to the right, and Spurs have the throw just on halfway, incidentally. Ben Davies to take the throw. Newcastle 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2 is the scoreline at the moment inside the last 20 minutes of the contest. 3 o'clock, Huddersfield against Chelsea, Watford against Brighton, amongst others. Fulham are in action as well. Plenty of good games taking place. Bournemouth as well, so plenty going on here. Manchester United played last night at Old Trafford. Liverpool and Manchester City and Arsenal kick off their campaigns tomorrow. So too do Southampton and Burnley at St Mary's, and that will be our featured match live, and we'll keep you updated with Liverpool as well away at home to West Ham United at Anfield. That's our updated match, so we'll give you any goals that go in there as well. But here on the Saturday game live on the JB Clark YouTube channel, as we see Key there, the new signing for Swansea, signed on a free transfer from the relegated Welsh side, who had a good start to life in the Championship last week under Graham Potter. A good victory over Sheffield United at Bramall Lane last week by 2-1. Meanwhile here on Tyneside it's 2-1, and it's going to Tottenham at the moment, but Newcastle have a free kick midway inside their own half. Ben Davies conceding that free kick. Atsu, the man, he was fouled, and Atsu now getting into position here. Can Newcastle, well, they've been worth a point, certainly on effort and entertainment alone. Just haven't been able to put the ball in the back of the net. They've had chances, but at the moment Spurs on the verge of a good victory here. Hard fought as well. Pochettino will know that it's never easy going to a ground when it's Rafa Benitez, home ground when it's Rafa Benitez in charge. Benitez an old hand at this game now, and the crowd and the noise levels now at St James's Park crank it up a little bit more level. Can Newcastle get themselves a second equalising goal? Not with throw-ins like that, I'm afraid. And Paul Dummett, goal kick to Tottenham. So it's not looking good for here for Newcastle, although they are playing well, but there are some bright sparks, and I think they'll win if they play with that sort of enterprise, they'll win a few games this season, there's no doubt about that. I think there's a lot to be hopeful about for this Newcastle team, although the fans can understand their anger about Mike Ashley not investing enough in the team, certainly with Baffa as manager. He's into his last year of his contract in actual fact. And if they're doing well, if they're doing well at the turn of the year and the January window opens, and Rafa wants a few funds, 30-40 million pounds to strengthen the team, I think actually needs to put his money where his mouth is here. It is difficult for teams now to keep pace with the inflated transfer fees. I think everyone accepts that. It's been hard for teams like Burnley as well, but we managed to bring 3 top quality faces, Ben Gibson and Joe Hart, and retire Vidra. Joe Hart really a proper good signing that for £4 million, a world class goalkeeper to boot, and we've got 3 of them at the club now, and we might see Joe Hart's Burnley Premiership debut tomorrow as they take on Southampton tomorrow afternoon. Obviously we don't know the lineups until then. Here's a chance for Newcastle. Out comes Lloris, good palm away and out for a throw in, level with the edge of the Tottenham penalty area to Newcastle. Quarter of an hour left plus stoppage time. Still time left for the Toon Army to get themselves an equaliser, and if they do get it, you have to say it's been richly deserved. Yes, Yedlin with the throw in, then the ball back again. Atsu controls on the edge of the area. Atsu shoots, and it's going to go out for a throw in, the attempted shot, and Spurs will be happy about that. Didn't even go out for a goal kick from Christian Atsu. Poor finish really in the end, but still 2-1 to Tottenham. Those 3 goals in 18 minutes look as if they're going to decide things here on the Saturday Game Live, the first of 2 Saturday games to launch our brand new series for live Saturday Night Football. Sunday match will get its launch tomorrow, with Burnley involved, and then of course we'll have the Monday night launch as well, a week on Monday at Palace playing Liverpool in that one at Selhurst Park, so that will be a launch pad for that. Of course we'll have this Wednesday match live as well on Wednesday with Chris Whiteman in the com box for the Super Cup as Newcastle come in search of an equaliser, as Rondon looks to try and mark his first appearance with an equalising goal. 13 to play at St James's, still 2-1 to Tottenham. Looks like Son is going to come on, says OCSC. I'm going to be honest, I think it's been an enjoyable match in the sunshine. And then all eyes at 5:15 will turn to Molineux, our second live commentary of the afternoon, as we look at Wolves. One of the newly promoted sides, and it's Wolverhampton Wanderers we focus on this weekend as they take on Everton, who have spent quite a lot in the summer winter. So Son is going to come on as OCSC as suggested, and of course you've got the JB man in the match. Don't forget, there's an hashtag for that as well. We'll bring you up to date in a second as Ericsson goes forward and palmed away by De Bruyne and out for a throw in. In fact, De Bruyne didn't touch that. So JB man in the match, you've got until the 90th minute to vote for your man in the match, so get your votes in now, and the votes will only count if you put hashtag JBMOTM. So remember, hashtag JBOTM for the man in the match vote. So get your votes in very quickly, who you think is going to be man in the match of the JB Claret coverage today. So don't forget, no votes will count if you do not if we do not use this particular hashtag. Hashtag JBMOTM. So please put your name and the hashtag for that, okay? And we know what they're talking about, and that vote will properly count towards the final total. So back with the game now. We're inside the last 10 minutes. The JB man in the match now in full swing. You've got 10 minutes to get your votes in. And we're going to see Son make his first appearance this season for Spurs. Dele Alli, who's had a good game, looks as if his goal is going to win the game. Well, Newcastle have got themselves 10 minutes to change all of that. So, one goal today. Nice way to get off the mark. Didn't score in any of the World Cup games. Dele Alli is the first vote for man in the match, as voted for by OCSC, and he's put the hashtag there, so well done to you. That is now a legitimate vote, and you guys and anyone else who wants to vote, you've got to do exactly the same. So one vote for Dele Alli. He's our early pace setter, as the rookie gets the ball, grabs the ball now as we go into the last 10 minutes of the game. Newcastle United 1, Tottenham Hotspur 2 in a sunlit St James's Park. It's been a real interesting game so far. Last night we saw Manchester United win 2-1, a very sluggish Manchester United win 2-1 against plucky Leicester City. Later today, Wolves start their Premier League campaign for the first time in 6 years. They take on Marco Silva's Everton team as the ball is not long up towards the edge of the area. Here come Newcastle on halfway. Long ball forward up towards the penalty area and a corner given, and that was good football this time. Perez actually, oh sorry, Mutu with the winning that one there as Shelby takes the corner far side, pushed it away there by Lloris inside his own 6-yard box. 2-1 is the score to Tottenham inside the last 9 minutes. Oh, and Atsu challenged there. Son reckons that should have been a throw the other way. Yedlin to take the throw for Newcastle. 2-1 to Tottenham. At the moment, Dele Alli winning our vote for man of the match. If no one topples Dele Alli, he will be crowned man of the match at 90 minutes dead. It's a throw to be taken by Yedlin for Newcastle. 2-1. The Magpies trail here in this opening game of the season, here on the JB Clark YouTube channel. Wolves to come later. The ball out towards the far side, and that's going to go out for a throw-in, I think. No, it's going to be kept in fact. And in fact, it's a throw to Newcastle, so the ball did actually go out of play before it was attempted to be kept in. Well, what have we learned from these two teams this afternoon? Well, we've learned quite a lot about Tottenham's resilience and look on their troubles. Attack they have looked threatening, but Newcastle have been just as good. Better organised second half defensively, and if they'd have had their wits about them in attack, they could have had an equaliser and maybe had a couple more goals. You could argue they could be 3-2 up in this game. But here come Tottenham now looking for their third. Kane is stopped in his tracks there, and here's Dembele, one of the other substitutes. Remember, Newcastle have used all three now. And here come Newcastle now looking for a way through now. Can they win it right at the death? Kennedy can't get on the end of it, or Rondon rather can't get on the end of the through ball, and in the end Newcastle's opportunity to get an equaliser stifled out again. The final ball just hasn't been there from the Newcastle midfield to the big men up front. Not good enough, although they did put one on a plate for Yosselu in the first half to get themselves an equaliser. It's been, the pace has sort of dipped in the second half. It hasn't been the same intensity as the first, but it's still been a good watch. Very enjoyable match. Still 2-1 to Tottenham. Those 3 first half goals look like settling it there. Batonga with a header after 8 minutes, putting Spurs into the lead, and then 2 minutes later Yosselu with a 3-header making it 1-1, and then on 18 minutes Dele Alli restoring Spurs' advantage to 2-1. This is Shelby now. Good boy towards the edge of the area. Good chance inside the area. Deflection off the crossbar and headed away. And Newcastle again denied by the frame of the goal. It was Rondon's shot. Gets a big deflection. Lloris is rope footed and it bounces off the middle of the crossbar. Can you believe that? So unlucky. How unlucky can you get? It's a throw-in, and it should be an equalising goal. A header flicked back, but it's Lloris's ball. But Rondon so close to his first Newcastle goal, and he won't come closer than that. Leg stayed down, lovely ball, took it out of his feet superbly, gets his shot off, hits the defender, Jan Vertonghen, and it hits the crossbar. Vertonghen just getting the slightest of touches on it. Lloris beating a mile and hits the middle of the crossbar and bounces out. How unlucky can you get? It remains 2-1 to Spurs. Well, sometimes the luck is just not there, but plenty to come. As I say, the 3 o'clock games, none of which we'll be recovering, but we will be back in at 5:15 with commentary of the game between Wolves. 5:20 I think we'll be on the air, and we'll go through the full times. We'll do a full classified at the end of the evening as well. keep you abreast of what's been happening across the UK before we leave you around about 7:30, 8 o'clock tonight. But here's a chance now inside the area. Big chance here for Mutu with a cross, and it's deflected away. Back to its the crossing again. Mutu with another good cross. Just hasn't been Newcastle's day at all. And the ball back in. Oof. And the goalkeeper has had a tough baptism today, Lloris. There's a Spurs player down. They're about to make their last substitution. It looked like Llorente was going to come on, but he's going to have to be replaced. He's going to have to sit down again. Disappointment on his face. Eric Dyer is the man on the floor. JB Live, who was the best Asian player in the Premier League so far? Kagawa Son or Okazaki? Oof, that's a very, very good question. I would probably go for Son because purely his consistency. Russ is hashtag JBMOTM. Dubravka has kept Newcastle in the game. So one vote for Dele Alli, one vote for Dubravka. I'm going to have the casting vote at this rate. You've got 3 minutes, guys, to change the voting for man of the match. Do you think it's going to be Dele Alli or Dubravka? We're going to see a change out. Amos is on for Eric Dyer. So Amos is going to get the last 3 minutes. 2 minutes now to change that. Otherwise, I've got the casting vote at the moment. If it was me with the casting vote, I would actually go against Russ, I'm afraid. Dele Alli has had an exceptional match today. Kane hasn't had a good game by his standards, I have to say. He hasn't had. Mind you, that Harry Kane has never scored a league goal in August. So that little statistic will be rearing its ugly head again as far as Harry Kane is concerned. Any time after September, he scores for fun usually. Not on this occasion. Not usually in August. So. There's still potential for some history made on the JB Clark YouTube channel if he does score in the next minute. Llorente cuts a very disappointed figure, but I'm sure you'll understand the fact that he needed to put a midfield player on, and Amos was the player that he wanted to bring on. But at the moment, Spurs still fighting on there to try and keep in the lead, and if they can get 3 points, it's a good start for them. We'll go joint top with Manchester United. Even though it's going to be tough. Russell will be back at 5:20 for the match between. If you want to listen along to that, you can do. Wolves versus Everton will be live on the YouTube channel from 5:20. It'll be me rather than Chris Whiteman in the commentary box. Chris will be back with us on Wednesday night with a commentary on the Super Cup, and we got and then the second leg of the Burnley match with the Turkish side from Istanbul. As we have an injury here to Yedlin, and that's a blow for Newcastle if that is the case. Ben Davies involved. Oh, you just feel the jar on his leg there, and Yedlin is a stricken man. The physio is in contact with the bench. I don't think Yedlin's going to continue, And Newcastle, remember, have used their 3 substitutes. We're now into the first of 4 added minutes, and there's going to be a considerable amount of injury time at the end of injury time here. It looks as if Newcastle might finish this first match of the season with just 10 men, because that injury does not look good at all. Martin Atkinson showing a lot of concern down there. There's no way, surely, in the world that Yedlin can continue. So whilst we're waiting there, I'm gonna go just here on the side of caution, and I'm gonna go for Dele Alli. I think he's been brilliant before his substitution. I thought he did really well. So Dele Alli's our JB man of the match, but I have to say, good call from Dubravka. He really did well there. Newcastle so close to the equaliser. We'll just see the replay of the. Well, I'm just seeing the replay of the ball ricochet off Vertonghen, and I thought it was the equaliser as well, and it would have been It'd have been justified, really, if Newcastle had got the equaliser, because they have played so well today. And then if they can play like that throughout the season, I know there's no doubt they'll get points. And it looks like Yedlin will be out. He's up on his feet, but I don't think he's able to continue. He's limping very gingerly there, and he's getting a good round of applause from the masses of the Toon Army who don't mind as long as their team put the shift in. So Yedlin off the field, and it means Newcastle down to 10 men. We're halfway through the 4 minutes, but I think there's going to be about an extra 2 added on for that injury, I'm afraid. So it might be anything up to 6 minutes here at the end, which is quite understandable if Mr. Atkinson wants to play on for that extra time. So Newcastle, as I suspected, will now have to play on 10 men because they've no substitutes left now. JB Live, I will try and listen later. Leeds are in action. Of course they are in action today, and we wish Leeds all the best. Another great club that have fallen by the wayside over the last dozen or so years, and it would be nice to see Ellen Rowe grace football again, top flight football. They are a big club, a bit like Aston Villa, a bit like Nottingham Forest. A real passionate fan base, and again, if you walk through Leeds, everyone's wearing a Leeds United shirt, and that again sums up the attitude in that town. It's in that city, I should say. I think to call Leeds a town is a disgrace to me to call it a town. I think they are a city, and deservedly so, and they are one of the biggest cities in the country, and I enjoy going there. Meanwhile, back in this game, the Army has been fouling, and a yellow card awarded to the Army, and it's ending in frustration for Newcastle. They played really well today. I think Harry Kane's I think they've conned him a little bit there. Don't think it's a yellow card offence. I think Kane has made a bit more of a meal of it than it needed to be. But even so, a professional performance from Spurs. JB Live predictions for Derby v Leeds. I'll go 2-1 Leeds. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I can't separate these two. They've had good wins. Derby last week, and then Leeds beating Stoke. I'm going to go for a draw. I think they'll both keep their unbeaten records. That's my prediction for Derby against Leeds later on this afternoon. Meanwhile, Spurs looking for a third here. Son in towards the penalty area. Son pulls the ball back behind everybody there, and away go Newcastle now on the break. Remember to come later on. Wolves versus Everton from Molineux. And then tomorrow it's Burnley away at Southampton, as we see. I've just seen a picture there of Yedlin being helped away. Sad sight to see that. Let's hope he's going to be okay. It looks like he's jarred his knee by the looks of it. I know what it's like to suffer from a knee injury like that, and it's a bad feeling. It's a real horrible feeling. He's in the best possible hands. As Newcastle now, we're playing at the end of the time, we played a minute over the 4. Offside given, which will not help one iota really. Had to being flagged offside there as we go towards the end of the game. Been a very, very tough examination for Tottenham today. They know they've been in the game, as we know. 1 minute and 25 already. The United 4 minutes at the end. On kick forward by Release, couldn't find Son. Some of the Newcastle fans have given up hope and have started to leave St James's Park. 2-1 it is to Tottenham, but Newcastle have had chances, they've hit the bar, and Hearts look as if they're going to win that one against Celtic. That would be a good advert for Scottish football. There goes the full-time whistle here, incidentally, at St James's Park. So a narrow victory for Spurs. They were second best throughout that second half. The goals, all of them came in inside the first 20 minutes. Batonga putting Spurs ahead after 8 minutes. Yosu equalising after 11 for Newcastle. Dele Alli scoring what proved to be the winner after just 18 minutes. Newcastle in the second half hit the bar, but then towards the end of the game lost Yedlin to a very serious knee injury, and I think that could be a real blow in defence for Newcastle. Just one quick question to answer before we leave you for the next couple of hours. Chelsea, I think, although Huddersfield will give it a good go as well, so I'll be keeping my BDI over the 3 o'clocks, but the next you'll hear of me, it will be in about just over 2.5 hours time, as our destination for our second live match will be in the West Midlands, when Molineux will host our second match between Wolves and Everton. Thank you very much for joining this stream. We're going to have to go now, but thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much, and everybody starting to tag JB Live, and no doubt when you join us again in just over 3 hours time at 5:20 in the afternoon, you'll do it again. So we'll see you in about 3 hours time, but we'll leave you for now with the scoreline finishing Newcastle 1, Spurs 2. A really good game to start the Saturday games off, and we'll be back in just over 3 hours time. From me, JB, have a wonderful Saturday afternoon, and we'll be back, as I say, at tea time at 5:30 p.m. for the kickoff of Wolverhampton Wanderers and Everton. And then tomorrow, of course, our focus will be on St Mary's as Burnley kick off their third successive Premier League campaign. A Sunday match live, a Clarets match live, even as they take on the Saints of Southampton, who narrowly avoided relegation last season. But thank you very much for listening. See you at 5:20 for the Wolves game. Until then, from me, JB, take care, and we'll see you then. Bye.